Hola, hola, hola. ¿Cómo estás, amigo? I'm just kidding. This video is going to be in English. What's up? Good to see you guys. It is YouTube time, and I'm gonna be uploading a lot of videos again. So cue the intro.
Close your eyes. Listen. 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 Listen.
Back in the day, I wanted to be an influencer. So what did I do? I said, okay, I'm gonna make videos and I'm gonna try to grow on social media. And I still remember the first time that I grabbed my GoPro Hero 3 Silver Plus. I was making a video where I was jumping in the pool. And I was like, it'd be cool if I made an outro. So as I jump in the pool, I hold up the GoPro and I am just really struggling to say something to the camera because I was like, what do I do? I say peace, thanks for watching. See you next time. So I said something like that, and I remember I just kept thinking, oh, that wasn't good, that wasn't good, that wasn't good. And then finally I did one, and I threw the GoPro in the pool, and I'm like, okay, we'll see how that looks. And then I watched it back. I was like, that's the worst thing I've ever seen in my life. Look at this guy in the video, which is me. Look how just stupid I look. I sound stupid. I look stupid. It was not a fun time. I tell you this just because that feeling of just not liking how I've seen myself on camera went on for a decade, even over a decade. It's been 11 years since that. I was pretty young. And it's just been this real evolution with me in social media. And eventually I got better at communicating to the camera. I was able to actually be on camera and not hate myself, but it wasn't really me. I was a different person. So how that really came about was I would only film when I was alone and I wouldn't really talk and I would be very performative, man. It hurts me to even think back about how performative I was. So I did that, and I actually grew a YouTube channel, and I had 250,000 views on a fishing video that Google paid me over $1,000 through just ad revenue. So that was pretty cool. But what wasn't cool about it is I felt like I was not comfortable in my own skin enough to just make videos. It was fishing, right? It wasn't really like me being myself and teaching or being creative. So anyways, the evolution kept getting harder and harder because I would succeed, but then I wouldn't be proud of myself and I wouldn't really know. I'd be like, man, this is my dream job, but it sucks. So I started growing on TikTok. TikTok then came out forever ago later, and I started making TikTok videos just like the cringy trends and all that, and I started growing on TikTok, and then eventually I started making motivational stuff on TikTok, and that really did well, and I was like, oh, this is pretty awesome. It's a good message, I get to put good music in this, and I grew 100,000 followers on TikTok in 70 days, and I just posted 2 times a day. That was where I really felt the best on social media, but I was still very performative. I was just like this inspiring archetype. The problem with TikTok is it's TikTok, so the audience is more interest-based, not really like a family of engagement. So then the followers weren't really engaged. I was getting views, but I would go viral a lot, but I didn't have that real family. So then I was like, okay, let me do this on Instagram. Let me see if it's different. So then on Instagram, I didn't pay anyone to grow on Instagram, but I paid a mentor to learn how to make money online to monetize my business of helping people grow on social media. And on Instagram, I grew 100,000 followers on there, I was like, oh man, that's really impressive. That's really freaking cool. Once I had 100K on Instagram, I was like, surely this is it. Surely this is the dream, right? No, I was still performing, and now instead of the inspiring guy, I was the business guy. I was the professional. And I was getting more authentic, but I was still very much wrapped up in impostor syndrome and this mask of performance and saying the right thing to position myself in the marketplace to make sure that people see me as professional and they buy my community. And I had a community called the 1% Creator, just helping people be in the top 1%. Then Creative Truth is really where I was like, okay, there's something here, because every time I turn on the camera, it's like my body has been trained to perform, and it comes from something. It's 2026 now. I'm filming this August 17th, 2026. When I came up with Creative Truth, it was 2023. So just imagine 3 years ago I came up with this. And this was a whole fresh new perspective on what it means to be a creator and what it means to be an artist. And that really excited me because now I had something that felt like more of the dream. I was like, okay, well, this feels right. This feels like my thing. This feels like the thing that I need to tackle to be able to just be authentic and make a lot of money and have a lot of followers, and everything is gonna be good. The dream is gonna come true. So here's what happened. I came up with Creative Truth, and then I realized just how inauthentic I've been on camera and why I was so scared of that. So for the next 3 years, pretty much all I worked on, I almost started a whole new business just on authenticity. I was working on my authenticity. Every time I turned this damn thing on, I would just contract, I'd be tense, I would say this, I would try to get a clip, I would like every single possible struggle you can imagine having, trying to be authentic, trying to be performative, trying to be something, I did. I struggled with hard. I just started getting good at authenticity. And every single time I felt myself perform, I would say, nope, we're not posting that, we're not. Or even if I posted that, I would feel it and I'd say, oh, right there, that's what I just did. I just contracted. I didn't need to say that. I didn't really mean it. And that worked wonders for me. That was 3 years ago. This year, about 9 months ago, I was like, okay, let me just lock in and build the business of my dreams. Let me just do it. And I was really like, I'm done trying, like, I know this is the dream. I know I want to help people find full alignment. I want to help them with authenticity. I want to help them grow online. I want to like make a living based off who they are. And you're probably that person if you're still watching this. I was like, I know this is it. Let me lock in. And then there was another level to this, another layer. And I was pretty devastated. So in January, I'm locking in, I'm doing ice baths every morning, I'm waking up early, I'm making videos, I'm storytelling, I'm making videos on Instagram, on YouTube, everywhere, and it's really good. And then this girl that I had a crush on for 3 years, who was at my gym, she came up to me and she said, hey, what's up? And I'm like, damn, this is a dream come true. I was trying to lock it on the business and then this happens and I'm like, okay, this is awesome, but also like, how is this happening? She ended up ghosting me after our first time that we hang out, which this wound just of not being good enough, oh man, it sucked. It was so intense that I really was facing anxiety every day and like working through this low self-esteem that just got passed down, and facing this within my nervous system, doing breath work for the last 3 years of looking within and really going to the depths of who I am has been a process the last 3 years, but just the last year, again, the wound has been super active. And then that really stopped me from creating the business that I wanted to create, that I'm telling you about. Ever since July of 2026, this wound has been gone. And the way that it has been gone is just by feeling my emotions so intensely. That literally was more than a full-time job. So I couldn't really do anything. I actually worked a part-time job as a server that also really sucked. I didn't like it. And that wound was just getting activated every single time I went in. All in all, to say, I've learned a lot about creativity. A decade of struggle and probably thousands of stories I haven't told you have led me here. And what I want to explain to you is the bottleneck of every level that I've experienced, that in hindsight, I can connect the dots looking back that now create the highest expression of who I am as a creative, as a businessman, and as a leader, is what feels like has been forged here for me. So I'm on a mission now to help you with that same thing. Now I'm really happy in life. I just had to share that story for a lot of context. Here we go. So I paid someone $10,000 to teach me how to make money as a social media creator. The bottleneck there was this person was really good at making money. And I always found that the people who are really good at making money are not that good at being fully creative, fully authentic, and knowing how to build a very big brand. This person had a small amount of followers, but was making so much money off of this small pool. And that is an incredible skill to know. You know how to market, to sell, to integrate, to craft the offers. But the bottleneck there was what? It was a big brand and it was showing yourself fully. So that was the bottleneck. So then I was like, okay, well, let me just grow on social media. Let me like really make sure that I grow this. And then the bottleneck there was I had 100K on Instagram. I had all these followers on TikTok. Again, I made $1,000 from YouTube from a 250,000 viewed YouTube video. You have all of these eyeballs, but you're performing for the views. You're making videos that do well. You're not making videos that get strangers to be paying clients. So the bottleneck there was authenticity and also just not knowing how to make money, even though I did, but just authenticity and performing for views and not really having an engaged family. So then we go a level deeper. This is where Creative Truth comes in. This is really the business that I am building now so that you can grow on social media and convert all of those people, no matter how big your brand is. If you're a purpose-driven creator, the problem is that you can't find creative alignment and you can't be fully authentic. So for me, I always felt like every video I made, there was just something missing. That's a stupid feeling.
I'm struggling so hard to create anything that I am proud of.
Right? Like you're making all these videos, you're trying to be creative, you know you love creativity, you know this is your dream job, but then something's missing, right? So the creative alignment was missing. So now you can't even really create anything. You can't make any money. You can't have any business because there's just something missing. Like what's my alignment? What's my thing? And I found that. But like that's the struggle. How do we find creative alignment? How do I do that? That is the bottleneck. What is in the way of me finding creative alignment and just living my dream, making a living off of who I am, having all these followers that I can actually influence in a positive way, make the world more peaceful. The bottleneck there is that people have fear in the nervous system, which is what I had. So that's a layer deeper. If you're a purpose-driven person, how do we tackle that fear? You have to figure out why you're scared. You have to feel it fully, and then you have to do something in the experience of this world to fully face it. Because then your body learns, oh, I'm safe here. And then once you go from a fearful person to a creator of your life, fear is not controlling you anymore. So now we can go back up this, I don't like calling it a pyramid, this ladder, starting from the foundation of who you are and how much fear is in your nervous system. The reason I tell you this is because I went backwards over the last 10 years and I'm now connecting the dots, looking backwards, that I started here, but really where most people need to start is down here. They need to start with the fear in their nervous system. They need to find their creative truth. They need to become a 1% creator and grow on social media. That is an engaged audience authentically. And then they need to monetize that and influence the world and build an amazing dream business they've always wanted. I went opposite. And I went opposite because I had to learn every single thing in depth. But now the good thing is I can teach you. That's it. That is it. You have to go from fear to creator and then create from truth. Be a 1% creator, and then you can be a creator business warrior. The thing that I did not tell you yet is what I got from getting through my fear. I can just tell you that it's important, but it's better if I show you. So just stick with me for 1 second. You see this thing, man? You see this thing? So this is my guitar, and I bought this because I wanted to play guitar. But the crazy thing is I didn't know I wanted to sing. I didn't know that I wanted to play guitar. I didn't know that I had this deep connection to music and I feel like kind of talented in it too, because I was fearful. So this is what's so important about starting down here, starting from fear to creator, becoming the creator. If you have fear in your nervous system, you're not going to find your zone of genius. That's the truth. If you have fear in your nervous system, you will not be a creator. You will not know what to do. I only found guitar after I faced the biggest wound in my entire life that hurt so bad. And I realized that within the depth of just hurting and feeling anxious and being scared and having this huge release, music was always there. Music was always there. Just someone creating and decorating time, which is what music is, was there for me at the depth of my struggle. Music was there. And then music is when I'm here. And then music is when I'm on top of the world. So that's why it's so meaningful to me. And now, building a brand off of creativity itself and helping you make a living based off who you are on social media, I can tell you how cool that would be and how important it is. But also, I can show you how good I actually am getting at guitar. I can show you what this actually does. Like, I've actually made my own music. I've actually made 2 or 3 songs now. That's unheard of. I went guitar class in high school one time, but like, how do you make a song? It's because I don't have fear in my nervous system. And when you don't have fear in your nervous system, your intelligence can have fun. That's what creativity is, and that's what makes life meaningful. That's what allows me to feel at home wherever I go, is creating. If I'm not living an artistic life, a life of artistry, I'm really struggling to be motivated. But when I have this, and when I can cook up beats, and when I can like do some stuff, create some stuff, see the magic of like, oh, I really like how that sounds compared to that, and then I like that's magic. We are creating magic when we create. So all that to say, man, like this is really a special thing that I've been struggling with for a long time, and I really want to help you do the same thing. And then for me, I already see this for myself. I don't have goals to be on big stages and be this big artist, but I do have goals to make the best music I can possibly make. Even though there's already a bunch of good music out there, no one can make it like I do because I'm me and I'm unique. And I just want to imagine we could just decorate the entire planet with more art versus more AI slop. You know, like that's the beautiful thing, is everything that people consume could be art. It's pretty good, eh? That's a pretty good motivator for me. So, yeah, I'm gonna start going live on TikTok to show you my progress on the guitar and just singing and storytelling and making music. And guess what? When I create on this stuff, this type of wavelength, guess what? When I make content, I'm like, yeah, that just strikes the chord. I'm proud of that, you know? And I never felt that before. So you gotta go all the way down and find your creative truth, ultimately. So I love you so much. Thank you so much for watching. This is the start of something big for me, mark my words. And yeah, I'm just gonna be spitting a bunch of value on YouTube, and then I'm gonna be on TikTok a lot. So follow me there. I love you. Peace.